Thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. So in today's video, I am going to be discussing the topic of recovery and relationships, specifically romantic relationships. In order for an eating disorder to grow and progressively get worse and worse, it requires at least some sort of isolation. In some cases, it's total isolation. For others, it could be removing yourself from the majority of social situations and very minimal time with family, close family, immediate family. It could be cutting off friendships. Probably the biggest place isolation takes a key role is when it comes to romantic relationships. When you have an eating disorder, love is just a foreign concept. It is a foreign feeling. You don't feel it for yourself. You feel it for maybe your family or your close friends. But for a lot of people, being able to be romantically involved with someone, it can be really, really difficult. I've touched on this subject in the past, different aspects of it, how to be a supportive partner, how not to be a supportive partner. And in this video, I want to talk about from the perspective of why a person who, like myself, is in eating disorder recovery, maybe you are years into it, such as myself, and still there's this nagging fear of getting into a relationship with a partner. I'm specific because every interaction with another person constitutes a relationship. So that is why I'm being specific and talking romantic today. So before I get into the details of this topic, if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you do not enjoy it, you are welcome to give it a thumbs down. That is cool too. I don't mind. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing for more eating disorder recovery content and reaction videos to the health and wellness and fitness world videos that are out there, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload. So this video is going to be from my experience and my perspective, so I will be talking about the reasons why myself and possibly other people may actively avoid getting into a relationship, and or why there is strong hesitation when faced with potentially getting into a long-term committed relationship with someone. Then I will talk about the positives that can come from being in a healthy, adult, mature relationship while working through recovery. There have been a lot of fears that play kind of on a cycle loop through my brain when it comes to dating and the romantic relationship world. First of all, there is the fear of judgment. This can take its form in a couple of ways. The first being the fear of being judged for how much or how little you eat. Fear of judgment just from a physical aspect. When you have an eating disorder, you are constantly thinking that others are judging you for your physical appearance. You are the worst critic. You judge yourself the harshest, while the rest of the world could probably care less about your physical appearance. Strangers, most of them don't care. There's a stigma around eating disorders, and there's judgment that comes with it. So being afraid that your partner is going to judge you for simply struggling with an eating disorder. There are awful human beings out there who are judging you. And you might find yourself maybe going on a date with one of these people, and if you're getting the sense that this person is ignorant, maybe don't go out with them again. But there is also this fear of being alone, and maybe this is your only chance. Trust me, your recovery will suffer. Your mental health and your well-being will suffer if you engage and continue trying to build a relationship with a judgmental person. It doesn't work. Either the relationship works or recovery works. Please pick recovery. You're better off for it. The fear of understanding or lack of willingness to understand. And then that leads into another fear, the fear that the person is incapable of understanding And this leads to an unsupportive, insensitive partner. Eating disorders are simple yet complicated. And eating disorder recovery is just as simple and just as complicated. The thing about understanding and being a supportive partner is you do not have to understand to be supportive. They can be separate. Your partner just needs to have a willingness to listen, the ability to try to understand, and the ability to say, I don't understand what you're going through. I've never experienced it. I can't comprehend it. I can't imagine it. But that doesn't mean that I am not going to back you up when you need to do the things that you need to do to better yourself. You don't have to experience to understand, and you don't have to understand to support. I know that my eating disorder is ridiculous. Eating disorders are ridiculous. That doesn't make it any less of a struggle, but I know they're ridiculous because it's like you need food to live. Food fuels your body. It tastes good. It's enjoyable. But there's these blockages in your brain saying you're not allowed to enjoy food. You're not allowed to eat more than this amount. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed. But finding someone who says you are allowed, being able to say for yourself, I am allowed, and having a partner who's like, I don't understand this allowing, not allowing, like it's just food. They back you up in your decision to allow yourself to enjoy food, to eat food, to experiment with food, to go through this journey. And they're there to back you up, even when they're like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I'll get you and I want to be with you. So, I'm going to be right here beside you. One thing that I've really been thinking about recently, this occurred with a previous situationship. We're not going to call it a relationship because it was not. There being this pressure, be a certain way, pressure that you need to change to be something you just are not. This leads to feeling out of control. And what happens when we feel out of control and we have an eating disorder past? The eating disorder thrives. So even if you're with a mature, supportive, understanding, encouraging partner, these pressures, these fears, they're still kind of there. When you're with the opposite, aka a piece of shit, they are magnified. They are much more prevalent. It's almost like a gut feeling. If you feel yourself like these fears and these criticisms and these things playing over and over, like on a loop constantly because of the person you are dating, you might want to take a step back and reevaluate the person that you are dating if they are going to be constructive and beneficial to your recovery. The situationship that I was seeing a while back, one of the things that they would do, which made this pressure so much more stronger and made myself much more aware of it, was they would constantly, and when I say constantly, I'm not exaggerating. So this person would basically tell me all the things I'm doing wrong and how I need to change. Some of the things were valid. They were little minor things. When I recognized areas that I need to work on, I acknowledged it. But then it kind of gradually became this like nitpicky, grasping at straws, trying to make every little thing I did incorrect. I need to change it. And to this day, this person will say that they were not trying to change me. They actually said that to me. And I was like, your actions and words speak differently. So, okay. And I started to fall back into feeling out of control because I wasn't free to be myself. I wasn't free to express myself the way that I needed to express myself. I wasn't able to speak freely of my recovery and what I needed to do to recover. And this person blatantly told me that eating disorders were stupid. And that is obviously lack of willingness to understand. So that person, bye-bye. From that, even when faced with an incredibly supportive partner, there's still this, well, what if they are going to try and change me? And that starts nagging away and eating away, and you start to feel out of control. But then you have to stop yourself and say, this person hasn't tried to change me. And therefore, there is no reason to be out of control, because you aren't out of control. You are who you are, and you are free to express yourself how you need to express yourself. So when it comes to feelings of being out of control, there has to be a willingness on both sides to be able to express your needs and wants freely without fear of judgment. And that goes for the person to you. You are going to be faced with being exposed to things that are maybe outside of your comfort zone, or things that are just not your thing, but it's their thing. And they want to share these parts of their life with you. And sometimes it's really scary, and sometimes it's really hard. Other people's hobbies can make you feel out of control when it's not your thing. But you can't ask a person to give up their hobbies for you. Like, that's just toxic. You have to let them push you out of your comfort zone in a healthy way. Don't dive face first into the deep end if you're not ready for it. I don't know if you're aware, but there's a lot of body shaming when it comes to eating disorders. This might be new news to you. You might not have known that. I've come to realize that 98% of people don't really care what your body looks like when you're having sex with them, because they're like, I'm having sex. And this will get you through being naked in front of somebody, because it's like, no one's body is perfect, because perfection doesn't exist. I do understand being uncomfortable in your own skin. If you want to be intimate on a sexual level, you have to be able to set aside your own misconceptions of your physical appearance. It's really hard to talk about this because it's something I really do struggle with. It's hard, but it's not a reason to not try, is all I'm saying. If you are in the midst of eating disorder recovery, you are ready to be out in the dating world, and you find someone, be with someone who makes you feel safe. Physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually. Then add on top of that, makes you feel safe around food, who will be proud of you for eating. I think some people think, oh, I just won't say anything. Be with someone who will say something and be proud of you. Like, will voice their pride for you for accomplishing something, like eating pizza, like eating salad. Be with someone who makes you feel safe around food and eating. I never knew I needed someone to be proud of me for eating. My proudness in myself was only like half, until someone else showed me they were proud of me for eating. And then suddenly I was like, whoa, I needed that in my partner. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know that was an option. When customizing your perfect partner, I didn't know that was an option. It's like an upgrade. So when I would be thinking about these fears and these pressures and just feeling out of control, that is when I fell back into my bad habits, is when they became all-consuming. Every thought was just like questioning this dating situation or this dating relationship with said person. There's going to be different criteria for, like, let's say being single and starting recovery, and then being in a relationship and starting recovery. If you're single, I honestly would recommend being single for the first portion of recovery, just simply to establish what recovery means and looks like for you. Once you have it established, it's a lot easier to stick to it when another person comes along and be able to be like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I need to do, this is what I need from you. Like, being able to figure that out. If you start recovery and you're already in a relationship, great, because then you get to figure it out together, which is awesome, because then it strengthens your supportive partner and it strengthens their understanding because they're watching you go through it. Anyway, I'm so sorry that this video is just a convoluted mashup of my weird thoughts, but I wanted to share it with you because it has been things that have been on my mind. And after being in very toxic, abusive relationships that have not only reinforced my eating disorder, but also brought back my eating disorder, it's very easy to just assume that that is the case for all relationships. Like, I'm going to get into this relationship and I'm going to start binging and purging again. Like, it's just going to happen. But then you have to realize that it can be two things. It can just be your mindset, or it can be your partner or your potential partner. And there's a lot of evaluation, and there's a lot self-talk, and there's a lot that has to go into determining whether you are ready to be with someone. And are they ready? Are they ready to take on eating disorder recovery with you? I still have so many thoughts, but I just do not know how to voice them at this time. So I am just going to end the video. And again, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, thumbs down is cool too. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, leave me a question, leave me a video suggestion. Be sure to go follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye!